Hey, everybody, Dave here. Hope you're having an awesome day. So, this week I want to do something pretty simple. I've got a lot of projects going on, so I thought, you know what? I just want to do a really fun, simple repaint. And I have this Sara Ryder action figure from Mass Effect Andromeda. I think it's a video game from like 2017. And she's got super cool armor on her body, and it looks really great. And I had a buddy who was getting rid of these. They were working on a little project. It's a Stormtrooper head, and they were just leftover 3D prints. And he was like, "Yeah, if you want it, you can take it. Otherwise, we're just going to toss it." It has a little hole in the top of the head, so I'm going to have to fill that in. But I thought it'd be kind of cool to do a Stormtrooper repaint with this armor and this helmet, and just make a cool like female Stormtrooper with kind of a futuristic armor on it. So I don't know. Let's try it. And so here's the figure, and as I was saying before, the detailing in the armor is really, really nice. So I think I can do some cool stuff with this, and the head just popped right off. I didn't have to boil it in water or anything. So I do need to fix this little hole in the top of this 3D print, and the 3D print's a little bit rough, so I might need to do something with that. But I just mixed up some Magic Sculpt 2-part epoxy and rolled a little snake and just kind of smash it there down into the hole, and I'll kind of smooth that out. And this stuff's pretty cool because with water you can actually blend it and smooth it out pretty nice. So I'm going to let that dry, and while that's dry I'm going to go paint this body. So here it is, painted white. This is about 3 coats of white, and I left this little ball of Magic Sculpt so once it's hardened I knew that inside it would be good to go. Did a little bit of wet sanding on that just to smooth it all out, and then I sprayed it white just to see if I had any issues. And I can see there's a kind of a little weird ghosting around there, so I'm going to go ahead and sand it down a little bit more and get that all cleaned up. And I'll take this matte black here and I'll start painting out the details. So on the mask, I'm going to start out by painting the eyes, and I like to prop my pinky on the object and carefully pull a line, take a little deep breath. It's something super satisfying to be able to pull a super clean line. And so I'm just gonna flush out the details here on the mask first, and then move on to the body. Now, as I was painting this, I did bring up some sources on my computer, and I noticed there was some gray areas painted out on the side of the temple there, and then on the front of the mask here. And so I went ahead and did that, and if I got any little goobers, I would just take an X-Acto blade and carefully scrape away, and that cleaned them right up. And I wanted to put these little marks that were running on the side of the helmet here, and so I used like an 005 micron. But as I was drawing those, I was like, ew, that looks kind of weird. So I switched to an 05. It's a little bit thicker nib, and just by carefully drawing and taking my time, I think that's going to work out pretty nice. So I went ahead and did it on the other side as well, and I think it balanced out pretty nice. I think that was better than using a paintbrush. There's some little gray areas on the side of the helmet here, so I'm just filling those in and doing the visor across the top there. Again, just prop your pinky on there, pull a little line, filling in the front of the mask, and then there's a couple markings on the back of the helmet that I'll paint up. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Oh, I think I need to do some silver on the front of the mask here. So I just took a little bit of a Vallejo silver, and I'll just touch up those little metal pieces there. Now I'm moving on to the body, and the Stormtrooper is pretty simple. Normally it's black around the neck, elbows, wrists, hands, knees, thighs, feet. There's just like these little areas where the black peeks through. So Because I have so much armor on here, I had to kind of just pause and think through where I wanted black to be. So it fit right, but it didn't look weird. So I think probably in the armpit and the arm area here was probably the most difficult because there's so much armor, and I just had to kind of be really selective of where I put the black paint down. But just taking my time and thinking through it, and I think it worked out pretty nice. The original toy had this cowling kind of scarf thing around her neck, so I kept that. Boba Fett has one, so I didn't think it was too odd. And the inside of the leg here actually has fabric kind of molded into the toy, so I thought maybe I'm going to go a little bit more extreme than a normal Stormtrooper, because normally you wouldn't see that much black on a Stormtrooper, but because the cloth was showing, I went ahead and painted this whole area where cloth was black. And I think because this is kind of my own take on it, it works all right. I know it's a little much for a normal Stormtrooper, but once I got it all painted out, I thought it looked pretty decent. Now I'm jumping to the knee, and again, just kind of really carefully doing a subtle touch there. This is looking pretty decent. I think I need to do something with the shoes. So I went ahead and started painting the shoes out. There's a lot of sole detail on this, so ended up kind of looking like, you know, your dad's Sketcher, but I think it'll be all right in the end. So that's looking pretty nice. There it is, the other side done. And I should have done a clear coat on this because when I did my wash, it kind of pulled the paint off in some of the areas and I had to repaint the black. But put my wash down, and I wasn't quite sure if this was a good move or not. I'm still not sure, but drilling a hole through the head here. I'm going to try a technique that a couple of people have mentioned to me on YouTube of taking some Vaseline, and this is just a regular petroleum base. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, and you kind of just smear the Vaseline all around the socket, and then you fill the head with hot glue, and then because the Vaseline is, you know, petroleum base, it won't stick to the hot glue, and you kind of just let it hold there. It actually worked out pretty nice. So thanks for all the people who left comments on maybe trying that out. And of course, I was trying to pose it, and I was right at the end there, and the foot snapped off. So I'm gonna glue that back together off camera, and let's call this thing done. Okay, so that was a pretty fun build. I gotta be honest with you, when I put the wash on, my first impression was it might have been cooler, super clean and white, but I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think it would have been better clean, or do you like it weathered up like this? I don't know. It is what it is, but I think in the end it turned out pretty great. I like how this head thing worked with the hot glue. I've never actually done that before, and that was a pretty cool little trick. So, yeah. All in all, fun little build. Not too complicated, but I think it'll look nice on the shelf. So let's do some turnaround shots of this thing. And as always, it's a great day to be a toy nerd. Have a great one.